Good evening.
Hello.
It's an evening recording session from us, having just played 4 hours of music together.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been nice, isn't it,
Been
John?
very, very good.
It's been a necessary balm to a very strange period.
Very weird times.
Anyway, without further ado, we kicked off with this album, which arrived today. Ooh, bit of glare there. Probably know who that is. Sade Adu. This is her best of album. And we listened to a wonderful tune called Nothing Can Come Between Us. This is a beautiful pressing, double album. And yeah, I mean, Sade is Sade.
Or Sade, as my dad used to call it.
Sade, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
Very good. Moved on to Michael Henderson from the album, I don't know where, Going Places here. It's not the way up, but you can't read it any other way. Which was one of, I think it was his third or fourth solo album. But the reason I played it was, apart from that, it's a great album, and the track at the concert's really good. It also features Roberta Flack on vocals, and also Marcus Belgrave, who, of course, Roberta Flack, who sadly left us in the last couple of weeks or so. And also features Marcus Belgrave on trumpet, who's a trumpet player from the Tribe label and the Tribe Collective as well. It's a really great, and I always like her very much in duo situations. Actually, she sounds good on this anyway. So
Great loss.
great loss.
Yeah.
Michael Henderson's always good to listen to as well.
We followed that up with something from this album. This is Natalie Cole, famously the daughter, of course, of Nat King Cole. We listened to the rare groove classic Annie Mae. This is from her album called Thankful, which is a great album. Also has a wonderful tune called La Costa on it. Yeah, I picked this up for a tenner actually, and it's a very nice, best mastered version of the album, so delighted with that.
Very good. And then we went to Jay Hoggart from his album, which was called Days Like These. And it was one of the albums that came out around the time on GRP, early days of GRP, when they were still part of Arista, around the same time as Tom Brown and lots of people like that were
Bobby Broom, Don Blackman.
Don Blackman, around that kind of time. And played the track off this called Taking It to the Streets, which of course was the Doobie Brothers. Jay Hoggart was a vibes and marimba player, who was slightly more on the jazz side of things than people like Roy Ayers and others who were around at the time. And yeah, it's a very nice record. It's kind of got that same kind of sound as the Tom Browns and Bobby Brooms and so forth as well. Luther Vandross on backing vocals as well.
I should say that I was very excited by this session because I've got 2 new cartridges. We've got 2 decks. We only obviously use one at a time, but it's the upgrade of the Audio Technica cartridge, and I was using the green one. This is the orange one, with the nude elliptical stylus for anybody who's interested in that kind of thing. Are you interested, John?
I'm very interested. I found my cartridge of choice and I'm just sticking with it. Really.
Okay. Well, I have to recommend it. It's only about 100 quid, I think. Average White Band, featuring regularly on these sessions. This was the one album I didn't have, called Feel No Fret. Last session we played the 12-inch of When Will You Be Mine. Today we listened to the track Stop the Rain, which we noticed, the bass line got not exactly sampled, but replayed by Melissa Morgan on her album Do Me Baby. But band sounding in fine fettle. Steve Ferrone, as ever, a master drummer.
Fantastic drummer.
So funky.
Went for Chic.
Oh, this was great. Yeah,
It was just great to play. I mean, a friend was talking about how he'd been listening to this record, and it just actually sounds fantastic. Well, all their records do. But played My Feet Keep Dancing, which is kind of almost like kind of trance music, really. It's obviously great for dancing to, but it also puts you in a really weird head state as well, I think, actually. I mean, just easy to forget how brilliant this band were, actually, when you kind of in a way, they're so much part of what everybody knows really about music. But they're just
not everyone knows that track, though. I would say
that's the one. It's got an amazing extended kind of just workout really.
Well, and also a section where there's tap
Some
dancing
tap dancing. Yeah.
and a great bass
But
line.
Tony Thompson, the drummer, sounds like he's playing the pistons or something like that.
Great. Well, following on with the kind of dance trance music, but not as you regularly know it, and also celebrating, sadly, Chris Jasper, who was a very key part of the Isley Brothers, while not actually being one of the brothers, absolutely integral to their kind of 70s and 80s sound. This is the album Go For Your Guns, and we listened to a fantastic tune called The Pride, Hearts 1 and 2, that also had that, you just suddenly were in a trance loop of funkiness.
Yeah. I bought that record. It's my favourite Isley Brothers record, that one. I bought that with me, but I also bought a backup because I thought Mark might play that one. So I played Live It Up, played the title track off Live It Up, and just sounded fantastic as well. This was the second album of the 3+3 lineup, which was the original Isleys plus Chris Jasper and Marvin
And Malcolm Sastel and Robert Margaluf
Yeah.
are important components in the production of this run of albums. Really interesting electronic sounds going
who were
on.
also working with Stevie at the same time as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, any Isley Brothers album for me is just perfect.
I was inspired by Ernie Isley's Hendrix-like guitar lines to then pull out this, which is the classic Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies album, and we listened to Power to Love, which just is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal music. It's just got everything going on. I mean, just a searing guitar assault from the off, but then also this incredibly laconic, laid-back delivery from Jimmy. But then all of the band singing, really funky. I mean, you just wonder what might have happened if Hendrix had lasted a bit longer.
Yeah,
It was a great direction.
He was. I only saw him once, which was at the Isle of Wight Festival, and I was just struck, even listening to that, just how incredibly relaxed he was. Actually, I mean, he had such incredible command of his instrument. Really, he just didn't need to stress out and make kind of silly faces playing guitar at all. Really, talking about silly faces, here's Frank Zappa from Joe's Garage, and this is the version with all three volumes of. And they played the track on here, which is called Backyard Goose, which is kind of one of the epic pieces on here. It goes through all different phases, has some incredible guitar playing.
Incredible guitar and drumming.
Drumming, yeah. Amazing production. Kind of doo-wop section, a little bit about a spoken word section, all kinds of stuff on here as well. But it's probably my last of the Frank Zappa albums I really, really love, I think, actually. And I mean, I like his later stuff as well, but this was kind of a special one, really. Joe's Garage.
Well, it was all a bit intense after that, so we needed to wind the pace down a little bit. This is a brand new 7-inch. It's a Japanese pressing, and it sounds absolutely fabulous. It's Derek Harriott and the track called The Loser. And you can get this if you're in the UK, or I guess you could order it internationally from the record shop called Dub Vendor. But just one of those beautiful... actually, I was inspired by the doo-wop that was going on the Zappa track. And this has got that kind of late 60s vocal harmony vibe, and definitely inspired by early R&B and doo-wop, but great tune.
Celebrated a birthday, which was now several weeks ago, actually, but Bob Marley would have been 80. And still kind of miss him, really. And I played a track off the Dreams of Freedom, which was the Bill Laswell kind of reconstructions, I guess, remixes of some of the tracks, mostly off Uprising, I think, weren't they, actually? Maybe, or no, actually, across a number of records. Yeah. And played, I can't remember what I played, actually. What did I play?
You played Midnight.
Midnight Ravers, yeah.
Yeah.
There as well. But it's,
that's a rare record John's holding up there.
Yeah. I mean, I bought it on vinyl when it came out, and now I think it's really difficult to find, actually, in that format. But it's great, whatever you get it in, it's a great record, actually. Maybe my favourite of Bill's stuff.
The dub-inspired track got me pulling out this, which is not particularly exciting. Good-looking records. very famous UK drum and bass label from the mid-90s, spearheaded by the artist LTJ Bookham, and one of his most celebrated tunes, which I've recently picked up on 12-inch, simply entitled Music. Very hypnotic.
I'm not sure why Bootsy came up next. Anyway, so I can't remember. I think just because I've been listening to the track "Very Yes" on here recently, which is the last track on the album, and it kind of creeps up on you a little bit, but it's not quite as spectacular as some of the other tracks. But it's got this great extended kind of coda to it, really, with some wonderful horn arrangements, which kind of come in just before the track ends as well. And I think this is maybe the second or third. No, it was the third album, I think, that Bootsy put out under the Rubber Band label. And it's always worth listening to Bootsy, really.
And I've suddenly disappeared here because I noticed that
The next track.
the track that I remember playing doesn't seem to be in my pile. And it was
You can mime it.
Sugarfoot
Yeah.
and the track Kiss.
Sugarfoot Bonner, once of the higher players.
That's one of the higher players. I'm not sure where he's gone to.
Leroy Bonner, wasn't he? He was called.
Is he Leroy Bonner?
He's not
Well,
here.
anyway, I haven't got nothing to show. I'll pretend.
Absolutely.
But a great tune. 80s tune, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Late 80s.
Kiss.
Yeah.
And, so he's very good.
Oh, I know where it is.
There it is. I can see
It's
it
over
there.
here
Yeah.
because it was a bit dirty, so I wanted to clean it.
It's coming back.
It's coming
Don't worry.
back. Here we are, folks.
We are
Hold tight.
Can't say we're not.
Sugarfoot.
Can't say we're not professionals here.
Super professional. Look at that. There he is.
Very good. Yeah, and so from that, I played my first CD of the evening, which was the MPG Exodus album. Prince, of course, New Power Generation. Although he's not really, I don't think he's mentioned at all on the cover. And played the great track, which I can never remember the title of, which I've forgotten again, which is called Count the Days. Which he performed on UK television with a kind of chainmail mask on, and they were trying to bleep up his motherfucker bit on the program, and they failed. They missed it, so they caused a huge controversy.
Also happened a number of times.
Yeah. But a great track anyway.
I thought, as I was listening to that, Prince's vocal was putting me in mind of this track, which is actually by Jaguar Wright, called I Can't Wait. Jaguar Wright, who sort of had a brief but sort of significant moment on the neo-soul scene. She was quite involved with the Roots album produced by, I think, Questlove. James Poyser was all over it. Bilal is on this particular tune, sounding very Prince-like, I thought, particularly in his falsetto range.
Definitely.
Great production.
I might say. And from Bilal, went to Sam Wilkes and this album called Io, 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 which I was very pleased to get. A friend of mine got me in Los Angeles and sent to me, because it never appeared in the UK on vinyl at all, actually. And it seems to be already out of print. And this is Sam Wilkes along with a band that was put together almost by accident, in the sense I think he specified 2 different possible groups he was going to work with in Japan, and they picked some from each band basically. And so I don't think they played together in this configuration at all, but it's brilliant stuff actually. So it's Sam along with Chris Fishman on Moog, who's fantastic on this, beautiful solo on this. Sam Wilkes on Fender bass, Craig Weinrib on drums, Dylan Day on electric guitar, and Tom Gill also on guitar, keyboard, and voice. Very, very quiet music, very kind of beautiful, actually. And in fact, there's videos of all the tracks of this on YouTube as well, so you can see them actually performing it. So, great stuff.
Very good.
Really needs to get released properly.
Would love to get that. So since we last made a video, John and I saw Sam
We
Amidon.
were just about to see him, I think, last time we did a video.
Possibly, yeah. Fantastic new album called Salt River. Highly recommended. Great gig.
Fantastic.
We listened to the track called 3-5. There's definitely a connection with that sound.
Oh, yeah, very much.
And Sam Gendel is kind of all over this. But it's basically a folk album.
Yeah.
If you don't know Sam Amidon, It's nice to actually see something that he's produced on vinyl, actually.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
the last one came out on vinyl, but they've all been out on vinyl, but they sold out almost immediately, so it's very difficult to get. But it was great, actually. And keeping in with the Sams, we then had Sam Prekop. I never know how to pronounce his name. Prekop or Prekop, along with Josh Abrams, Chad Taylor, Arthur Pruitt, and Jim O'Rourke. And this is his first, first solo album. He was originally part of the Sea and the Cake, also associated with Tortoise and all that kind of gang as well, and played the track called Showrooms off here. So it's a great album to listen all the way through to. Actually, it's a kind of perfect. Kind of stays within, not necessarily the same mood, but stays within kind of the same kind of sonics really all the way through. Really good stuff. And it came out quite a long time ago now, actually. Anyway, yeah, definitely worth picking up.
And the connection was Josh Abrams, who appears on this one as well, which is Representing, which came out 2-3 years ago, I think. Featured on the track we listened to called Cloud Walking, the guitar of Jeff Parker. There was some strong gimbri playing, we think. Some lovely tambourine, some kind of Brazilian pandero playing, I think. Very hypnotic stuff. Yeah, Representing.
Quite similar. I mean, his band is the what's it called, Natural Information Society as well. Got some very good music, actually, interesting stuff. This is something I've just got, actually, courtesy of Matsuri Records. Thank you very much to them. And this is an album by a group called Bianca's, and it's an album called Black Soul, and it's basically early 70s South African music, very much influenced by kind of Memphis soul. So you've got this kind of interesting kind of crossover of more traditional South African themes, along with kind of American late 60s, early 70s R&B as well. And I haven't really going to be listening to this much more over the weekend, actually, if I can. And yeah, interesting stuff. Reissued on Matsuri, nice restoration job, mastered at the Carvery. Good label.
Nice. This is, I believe, a reissue. It's come out on a label. Well, it's not mentioned here, but it's on Super Disco Edits. This is just sounds like a kind of rare groove classic by a band called Popeye, Poppeye. Actually, the track is "Be My Baby," which is the B-side. That's the one I'm really feeling. Yeah, sounded great.
Something about it made me think it wasn't American. I don't quite. Maybe it's something about the production. I'm not sure. I should be interested to find out where it actually comes from. This was definitely American. This is Barry White, Love Unlimited Orchestra, White Gold, and played the track off this called Dreaming, which is a really weird, slightly odd track, actually. I mean, it's got a very, very, it sounds like somebody dreaming, actually, pretty much so. But anyway, like the Ozzy Brothers, any Barry White album's always worth getting, really, or certainly most of them.
I think there was a connection with the vibe.
Oh, very
Obviously,
much so,
Isaac Hayes, Black Moses is the album. Celebrating another someone else who's left us, which is Jerry Butler, who was one of the writers for the track Never Gonna Give You Up. And this is an amazing 10 minutes 34 long track, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time, and wonderful backing from the Barkays. Great backing vocals, wonderful horns, strings, and exemplary playing from the drummer.
Yeah, fantastic.
Again, more trance music.
Yeah, we're in a trance state.
We do need to be trancey.
Remembering Garth Hudson played off the second band album. The band played the track King Harvest Has Surely Come, and he was, I think people kind of really underrated him in terms of the contribution he made to the band. I mean, he was also to the music. I mean, this album also has the amazing song up on Cripple Creek on it, where he played organ through wah wah, which became a huge kind of thing, basically, and which everyone else started to play, including Stevie and people like that after him. He was a real innovator, Garth Hudson, and this is a great band album.
From a kind of quite gritty sound, we went into a rather smooth sound here with the Kenny Loggins album, Keep the Fire. and we listened to a track. I think we listened to Keep the Fire. Yeah, the one that features Michael McDonald as a co-writer. Yeah, I mean, very much epitomising probably the worst excesses of late 70s coke infusion. But
White powder. Talking of the white powder years, then we moved on to Little Feat. And there was a weird connection there, because first time I saw Little Feat, they were on the bill with the Doobie Brothers, and they completely, which obviously Michael McDonald was in at the time, and they completely blew them off the stage, actually. To the point where I heard that the Doobie Brothers actually didn't want to go on after Little Feat as well. But anyway, so I played them the track Long Distance Love off this album, and there's a great video on Instagram of them doing this song in rehearsal, I think, with on Bob Dylan's feed. Bob Dylan has taken over his own Instagram feed, and he's putting amazing stuff on there. So it's obviously the label have kind of given up, and he's posting all kinds of amazing movie clips and all kinds of stuff up there.
I have to say the bass sound on that was just superb.
It's a great song. I mean, this was not one of their greatest albums, but that track is definitely fantastic. Long Distance Love off the last record album.
My local second-hand record shop has suddenly come into a number of Pure Pleasure releases. Pure Pleasure, UK-based label, who've put out a lot of Strata East. So I picked up 3 Charles Tolliver-related albums, including this one, which was his first, although this was a kind of reissue with a bonus track, with an amazing band featuring Gary Bartz, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, and Joe Chambers. And we listened to a very absorbing tune called Peace with Myself, and you could really hear that kind of, just before the Electric Miles period, obviously Herbie and Ron playing together with Miles and kind of just stretching things out in a really interesting way.
I think the reason why the Pure Pleasure stuff it's turning up in all over the place is because Strata East is going to be reissued. I think everything on Strata East is going to be reissued over a period of time by Mac Avenue. It's a big reissue program, which is kind of attracting a lot of attention. So I went somewhere completely different from my last
really
piece.
Did.
Thomas Tallis, composer from basically some Latin church music, and played the amazing 40-part motet, which is called Spem in Alium, which is 40 voices singing all different parts as well, and across 3 choirs, I think it was, or 4 choirs put together. And it's an amazing piece of music, but also it was also an incredible sound installation by an artist called Janet Cardiff, where she had 40 speakers in the room, and each of the speakers was playing back what the singers were singing, so you could walk through the choir actually and listen to the music. But anyway, it's a beautiful piece. Tallis was a beautiful, kind of beautiful music. I'm certainly not into Latin church music in general, but I mean, this was quite extraordinary music.
It was lovely. This is an album which I'm actually on, but you won't have seen it yet because it's not out yet. It's not out till April. It's by Robin Rocket and people you may have heard of. And it's got a whole bunch of different musicians bringing together a number of different scenes. I was on the track, we played the track called We Are All Human that featured Danalog, Donna Thompson, Mikey Chestnut, Will King, Robin Rocket, and Alabaster de Plume. Sounded great.
Sounded very, very good indeed, actually. So that was it. We had a slightly shortened session.
Yes.
Than usual.
I think because John's going to make an early departure. But
definitely.
Nice to be back. As ever, we love any comments, any thoughts. We love it if you listen to our radio shows. We always leave the links underneath here.
And there's quite a few of you too.
And
the world's going mad, but there's still music.
Yeah, keep spinning
for
those
now,
discs.
anyway.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
See you later.